So thank you for the time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's a
And
pleasure to meet you.
seeing that we are making it at last.
Yes. And we are Africa by Art.
Yes.
So
So we are a new platform to promote African artists and creators all around the world. We have a gallery, an agency, marketing agency. We have a marketplace, and we have a media because we want to spread all around the world the excellency of African creators.
and so today we want to know more about your book and if you want to tell us about it.
Thank you very much. Let me start by thanking you for. Sorry, let me start by thanking you and for creating this opportunity for you to pick interest. It's a matter of interest. To not only meet with me, but be able to know what I do as an author.
Yes. Your what are the highlights of your career and your last book?
All right, thank you very much. Like I said, maybe I should run you through my personal career. I started as a classroom teacher. I'm an educationist by training. I started as a classroom teacher. I taught in a girls' exclusive secondary school for a period of 12 years. I rose through the ranks to become the head of department, the vice president, the principal, and eventually the principal of the girls' school, one of the best girls' schools in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. This actually created an opportunity for me to not only interact, but establish a very productive relationship with the female gender at a very young age, young girls. Young girls that I see I have mentored, young girls that I see I serve as their role model, and through our relationship, through our productive interaction, I was able to mentor this girl. I was able to see in these girls their features, their aspirations as women, future women leaders, and girls that have ambition to excel in a culturally and traditionally society that they face so many challenges as they grow up as young women. The opportunity I had actually saw the dream in them. So I will tell you that this is my first inspiration of writing books. And I didn't even start writing books when I was in the school system, but I started with literary activities in terms of, apart from being the English teacher in the school, I organized literary activities like debate, like literary clubs, and there we produced the school magazine. I became the chief editor. So a lot of stories come in, and you find that most of the time these girls were ready and open to tell the story about their lives, what they want to become, their family background, their inspiration in life, factors that is hindering their education, their concerns, their fears of what will happen to them in future. So we share a lot of ideas with them. I counsel them, and because eventually one aspect of my training is as a counselor, a guidance counselor. I'm trained as a guidance counselor during my master's degree. Apart from being an educationist, I'm also a counselor. I had the opportunity of counseling these young girls, particularly in the area of vocational counseling at their last year in secondary school. After the secondary school, before they go to university, they decide, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer. So it gave me the opportunity to guide them along the choice of career. So I see this as one of the main inspiration that informed my decision to write a book. But the greatest one, let me tell you, was when I was appointed the Minister of Women Affairs in my country. I was the head of the issues to do with women's socio-economic and political development. I attended so many conferences at national and international conferences. The one that actually I would say is an added adventure that really made me write this book was when I attended the United Nations Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. That time, I went, I presented, and also defended my country reports on what are the main issues of women development in my country. And what are the challenges in terms of tradition, in terms of social, cultural, in terms of so many issues. And that also gave me the opportunity to exchange ideas with my colleague ministers from other countries, particularly African countries. We rub minds together to see where we find our common ground. Our common ground is what are the main issues of the African girl child and of women generally. What are the issues in terms of education? What are the issues in terms of economic development? What is the issue in terms of political participation? So we try to look at some of these challenges collectively. And I think by the time I finished my national assignment as a minister, that I was not only sitting as in charge with the responsibility of implementing programs that will bring and advance the women in Nigeria. And I had gathered a number of experience. I believe this experience is the one that made me immediately after my national assignment as a minister, I decided to document this experience, and I wrote my first book. This is my first book, Women and National Development. So Women and National Development is about the historical background of women in Africa, but with a particular reference to Nigeria, their traditional contribution, what have they been doing in terms of contributing to the development of the nation, what are the main issues, and the concluding part of this book is that if women are to be advanced socially, economically, politically, they need to be given the right education, capacity building, and also vocational training in such a way that they will be empowered. When they are empowered, women can now contribute equally on the same ground with their male counterparts. This is very, very essential. So like I said, the bottom line of all the areas I analyze and examine in this book about women's contribution in the rural, in the urban, in all kind of setting, traditional setting in Nigeria, in Africa, they have great problems, even in economic development. We all believe that women contribute between 60 to 80% of the agricultural workforce, but they are never recognized. Even in the home front, women take care of the children, they cook, the labor in the home front is never accounted for, it's never paid. So you can see in the overall development process, women contribute more than men, and they are being less recognized, and they are never paid, and they are never accounted. So this is very key. This is all about this. It was published in 2001, and then my second book, which is Women and First Ladyship. You look at the issue of First Lady. It's about the activities, programs of First Ladies in Nigeria. In one concept, one model I've adopted in my writing is conceptual analysis. I look at the concept, what is the issue? I analyze it. Then general introduction. Then I come down to the specific. So what I did in this book, I look at the origin of First Lady. Where did it originated from? In the American democracy. The first woman to be called a first lady was the first wife of President Topman in America, and she was Roosevelt, I think. So she was the first woman, and the philosophy of first lady spread all over the world, to Africa, and of course to Nigeria. So all wives was head of government, president, they are expected to contribute to actually come up with a program that will contribute to the development of the society. It could be in a humanitarian form. So what I did, all the first lady from the beginning, right after independence in my country, as wives of the president, I document their contribution individually until the current one, the last one before the current first lady. So the bottom line is that if the first lady of any country are given the opportunity, they can contribute to policies, to programs that will uplift the society, because most of their focuses has been on the less privileged members of the society. Women, the girl child, the handicapped, those that don't even have opportunity to go to school, to raise their hope, to build their capacity, to make them empowered. So this was published in 2010. And this book actually was my PhD dissertation. I wrote it as a PhD thesis. Then I expanded the scope and to go beyond my academic research framework and to come up with other issues and publish it as a book. Then my third book, which is this one, Women and Leadership, I would say this book is my most celebrated book. I brought a lot of issues from the traditional contribution of women as leaders. I promote women as the greatest leaders. They manage the home, they lead the family, they organize the home front, they take care of the family members, they take care of the extended, particularly in African countries, they take care of the extended family members, where you have large members of family of 20 to 30 living under the same roof. They manage their feeding, they manage their welfare, and now on the public sphere, women traditionally in Africa, they have contributed as leaders. They have become leaders within their traditional society. In my country, there is a traditional woman in Nigeria. She's being regarded as the greatest woman, traditional leader, a warrior called Queen Amina of Zazzau. She fought, she led a war and conquered empires, expanded her territory, and became the greatest leader in a country. So you see, leadership is not just in the modern society. Leadership is even more in the traditional society. In the traditional society, it came naturally. And I'm telling you that it's more effective than it is now. Why? Because it came as a natural inbuilt kind of trait that has excelled beyond civilization. Now in the modern time, we also have women heading the government, we have women who are head of state, we have the first female president and head of government in the world, as the first female president of Sri Lanka, Bangradnaiki. She is being regarded the first woman to be the head of state. Now we have many countries having women prime ministers, women presidents. All these, they are coming after somebody who has opened the door for women all over the world. So this is about women leadership. It has a number of pictures to illustrate what it means. Picture of great women all over the world, in African society, in Nigeria, everywhere, different aspects of society, different aspects of national development. So actually, this book tried to promote the solidarity of women. And we see the strength of womanhood in their solidarity. how if women should come together, they will support each other and they'll be able to achieve their goal. So this is my third book, and I must say, this is my latest book. It was published last year. This was 2012, but this one last year, 2021. It's about the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, and the title is in her name, Aisha Buhari being different. I worked with Aisha Buhari before my appointment to UNESCO as a special assistant to the president, senior special assistant to the president, in charge of the office of the First Lady. I worked assiduously for the period of 6 years in the presidency in Nigeria. I headed all the activities of the Nigerian First Lady, both at national and international. We attended so many programs. I supported and initiated her programs, which she has implemented, the humanitarian activities. And I could see, after writing this book on other First Ladies before her, she has done something much dramatically and different from the other First Ladies in Nigeria. One I can clearly tell you is that in her own case, for the other First Ladies, they implemented their program under their official structure of the government. So when the government left, their program also left. It's never hard. But in her own case, we encouraged her to register her NGO, her humanitarian activities as a private entity, so that after she leaves, it's still going to be a structure. It's her own personal, it can be sustained, it can be transmitted, it can be protected. So that is why I look at the title as Aisha Buhari being different. In so many ways, she has done a lot of things. She has attended one of her program is the first program in Nigeria to gain an international grant. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gave her about a number grant to implement 4-year program on the women and reproductive health in Nigeria. And a lot of things. She has sponsored and supported a bill to the National Assembly of Nigeria, where she met with the lawmakers and made her report and supported a bill that led to the establishment of an institution in Nigeria. So these are the few things I need to talk to about this book, Aisha Buhari being different. Like I said earlier, it's my most celebrated book. It's a book that I know I'm part for it from the beginning to the end, and it's a book that I know that has documented a lot of things about the activities of First Ladies in Nigeria, and through her contribution, through her humanitarian activity and her NGO called Future Assured Program, and her foundation, Aisha Buhari Foundation. She has promoted the well-being, the health and well-being of women and children in Nigeria. She has impacted generally on the less privileged members of the society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency.
Yeah.
I've got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Quickly. What do you think of the situation of African artists and particularly women artists?
Well, generally, I think what the women artists need in Africa is encouragement. They need role modeling. They need people who have actually succeeded and have become role model to come out and encourage the younger generation to build their capacities, to also make noise and talk about what they have done, to encourage others to come and do what they have done, and in fact to do it better.
Thank you. And what do you think of the initiative of Africa by Art to give more visibility to African artists and creators all around the world through their innovative ecosystem?
Well, I think, like I said, capacity building, and we need to change the narrative. We need to change the narrative in the sense that we must catch them young. I always believe in catching them young, because when I look back from where I'm coming from, the kind of inspiration, the kind of encouragement, I got it at a very younger age, and I got it as a result, like I said, a result of my interaction with the younger generation. So I'm sure by the time you catch them young, we need to look at institutionally what are the issues. Look at our educational system. I think it's basic. Look at our education. Do we encourage art as a subject in this? Do we encourage the female gender? Is the curriculum gender friendly? Does it allow both women and men to come together, the boys to come and compete? Not giving kind of discrimination that this kind of, this area is for boys, act and writing, literary work, and basically for men is not female gender friendly. If we do that, then we discourage the younger generation of coming. So I think what we need is we look at our capacity building, review it. We look at our educational system, review it. We look at the curriculum system. How is it? What do we need to build up now? We have to start from the beginning. And I tell you, we don't have many role models in the area of arts, in the area of literary work, so we need to do something about it now. And I believe this interview I'm having with you will be like an entry point. It will give way. Now I'm sure when this is extended, broadcast, and also it showcase what people like us have done, we now be able to inspire the younger generation to come and probably do better than we have done.
And so it's the fight for Africa by Art to work in this way. And can you say a support word to this platform, Africa by Art, which is a media team?
Africa by Art, I think I'm happy to meet you for the first time.
Thank you.
And I would say this is the first time being interviewed at this level, and since I assume the new position as the Nigerian ambassador and permanent delegate to UNESCO. I can see many openings, and I want you to expand your spectrum in such a way that you can go places, and should also open way for more people to come and encourage people of the same profession to be able to come and join you so that we can now do better. I believe as a team, we'll be able to achieve more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.